You were with who last night?
Bill.
Oh, Bill.
Up in Connecticut. I took the train.
Bill.
And then Carbonaro was there.
Oh, yeah.
It was fun. We're all like a little family.
Yeah, it is nice.
It's really nice. I like it.
All right, I'm going to do the intro.
All right, intro away.
All right, everyone. I'm here with magician, mentalist, ex-Google employee, David Gerard. David, you're in New York.
We're in New York.
This is not normal for you.
No.
No. But you're here.
I'm here.
I was just in Las Vegas. I got back yesterday.
Amazing.
When did you get to New York?
2 days ago, I had a show on Sunday, so.
How did your show go?
It's great. It's here in Brooklyn at the Gutter.
Nice.
You did it.
Oh, that
Yeah,
show.
yeah.
Dude, that show was so fun.
It was amazing. Amazing.
I got an email from this guy, Max, to perform in this magic show at the Gutter in Brooklyn. And I was just like, yeah, okay, I'll do your show. And it blew me away.
Yeah,
Like
awesome.
the caliber of talent in that show was just like, oh my gosh, insane.
But you gave me a good heads up. You said, it's a young crowd, and
Yeah.
I had some preloaded Gen Z jokes. So.
Good, and was it still a young crowd?
Oh, yeah, dude.
I wasn't sure if it was only when I was,
No, yes.
that one night, or if it was.
No, it was great. It was like such a good little Brooklyn vignette, So.
He did this trick, Max, the guy who runs it, and I don't know if this is like an easy trick or not, but it blew my mind because I'm not a magician.
Yeah.
But he memorized everyone's name in the audience.
Yeah.
Did you do that yesterday too?
He did.
Oh my gosh, that's incredible.
It's the same audience every time, so it gets easier. But,
But to me, that's like, oh man. As someone who doesn't know how that's possible.
no, he's a memory man. So.
Is that really what it is? Just remember?
Yeah,
Oh wow.
He would tell you himself it's real.
Wow.
Dude, that's
Okay.
amazing.
Yeah, so we are walking on the Upper East Side. There's a lot of traffic here because this is how a lot of people get to the airport, the FDR. So let's do a little crossy. Talkie Walkie, crossy. And we're gonna go to Randall's Island, which I've never done a Talkie Walkie going to Randall's Island. We're gonna walk on that bridge there and go all the way over.
All right.
So it should be a nice walk and talk and walk.
Love it.
Okay, I have to start this interview, this pod, by talking about your previous life before you were a full-time magician, even though you were doing magic while you were in while you were working in San Francisco.
Yes, sir.
Oh, yes, sir.
Ooh.
But do you want to tell the folks what you were doing at Google and like?
Yeah, so, just blessed to have kind of two lives running concurrently where was in tech for like a decade, 5 at Google, 5 at startups like Discord and cool stuff like that. And yeah, just kind of doing marketing and presentations and making cool videos and stuff.
Uh-huh.
And then at night doing like 60, 70, 80 shows a year.
Wow, that's
so
a
it's
lot.
aggressive. Yeah.
That's as many as like a full-time magician already. So you're kind of really doing 2 jobs.
The short road to burnout, man. And but along the way, met a lot of our shared friends, Colin Cloud, Ben Seidman, you.
Yeah, Bill.
And just, Bill. And was just like juggling both worlds. And so about 2 years ago,
Funny.
2 years ago, I made the plunge and now I just do, mentalism and magic.
Was it scary to leave that Google job?
You know what's funny? It
actually, like cushy and insurance, maybe.
Yeah, cushy and job with benefits, but I think for me it was more. I was able to build up the night job to a point where I could leave. It wasn't like a pure, 0 to 1. It was like, okay, I'm doing 70 shows a year.
Oh,
there's
okay.
demand around the country. I can maybe jump into that, and so I felt really safe.
Yeah.
So I think that's like people who are thinking about going full time. I think often they pull the plug. Maybe a little too early sometimes.
Yeah.
Like I think there is a nice sink or swim, burn the boats mentality.
Yeah.
But for me, it was I needed the safety of, hey, I've got a business already existing.
Very cool. To me that makes sense. When I was going to school here in New York, I was going for theater and film.
Yeah.
And I dropped. I didn't want to be in school, but I couldn't drop out without having work. So when I was I got with an agency. And I was like, yeah, I'm open all the time. I didn't tell them I was in school. And then they just booked me. And I was like, all right, I'm dropping out of school now.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Well, it was like performing on cruises.
Yep,
But it was still professional gigs and money. And then I was able to, save up a ton. And
yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think for me, that's incredible. There's so many roads to Rome, right?
Yes.
I think what's really helped me is, you know, that business audience is now who I perform for, and I used to work for and with them. And I remember being at events and they would hire entertainment, and being an employee first was an interesting experience. So like I've been the audience.
Yeah.
So I think thankfully my event planners and hosts and whatever are like, you're kind of one of us, you know, it feels that way. And I think that's, you know, that's cool. So I don't regret any of the time that I spent in that world, and I'll still consult on some startups, but it's definitely helped me close that gap between me and my audience. So
any, just because I've never talked to someone who like works so closely on startups.
Yeah.
Are there any like crazy startups that you thought like that people pitched to you that you're like, this is never going to work, and that actually end up working? Or any like vice versa, any like crazy startups that you're like, oh, this is going to be huge, and it just never came to be? Because I'm sure you sat through a lot of pitches.
Yeah, and like what's cool now is my friends have gone on to like start companies and stuff, and so you kind of do get like kind of the early high level pitch. I think what's interesting, man, it's like, you know, that's what venture capitalists are paid the big bucks, to kind of be able to spot these things in advance. I don't have any good stories off the bat, but I do remember, like, you know, a lot of what I think about is things that come too early. So like at Google, we had this product called Wave, which no one remembers. But it was just like 6 or 7 years before Slack, and too early and too weird, you know? And so sometimes it's really about like the time vector, which is, you know, when do these things launch, and are consumers ready for it, right? Are we ahead of the curve? You know, I remember trying on Google Glass right when it was created, you know, like literally.
Yeah, it was like 10 years ago or something,
yeah,
right?
in the cafeteria, you could go and try it, and it was like, okay, is that too early? Is there a use case, right? You know, wearables are their own thing, but so no, I don't have anything awesome off the bat, but it is cool to see what survives and what doesn't, and what consumers can understand. And,
that's just a world that I've never been a part of, but it's definitely a world that I'm interested in, because a lot of people like creating things that hoping like to fill a gap and make things easier for people's lives, right? Like that's what tech is, I think, aiming to do.
Totally, yeah. I think for me, it's like,
I don't know.
I'm most interested in what problem is this stuff solving, and is it a problem that exists already for people, and is it easy enough for them to use in their lives? And we know so much magic that is like for magicians, for techies, right? But not for the everyman, and then they're like, this isn't really good. And so, yeah, dude, that has definitely like informed my style of commercial presentable magic.
Wow,
right?
okay.
Like what can go down smooth, what is applicable for an audience, because I thought that way, you know, all the time at work, where I was like, we need millions of people to like this.
Absolutely.
So I definitely have a more commercial slant than an artistic slant sometimes.
That's okay.
But yeah, for right now,
Yeah, that's totally cool. Now, I gotta ask you, because it's just such an interesting job being a mentalist and magician. Like, what got you started, and like, how did you get into it?
So it's funny you teed it up, because I got started in New York. I was 6 years old. I went to FAO Schwartz.
Really?
Toy store. Got a magic set.
Wow.
But like whoever I saw demoing when I was 6 was incredible. So I saw like coins across when I was 6.
Wow.
You know?
Is that shadow coins?
No, kind of like in the hands.
Oh, okay.
You know, just jumping really clean. And I was like, this is insane. So I didn't see bad magic first. I saw great magic.
Wow.
And then, so basically 6 to 18, kind of messing around with magic and stuff. And then I went to Penn State, and I met Chris Ruggiero.
Okay.
And Chris Ruggiero is a mutual juggling friend, but also interested in magic. And Nathan Kepner and these folks who were like good, you know? They knew like the real shit.
Yeah.
And so they were doing stuff that I had only seen on TV, you know, see David Blaine do, and then here's Nathan at a barbecue doing like freaking, you know, this incredible stuff. And then we started doing variety shows together, and it,
Was Chris Chelko there too?
Oh, so Chris Chelko, and what was the other guy's name?
Michael Dubois. Yeah.
So they had graduated like 4 years ahead of us.
Oh, okay.
But they were, what were they called? The Adult Circus.
Yes.
And they really created, I feel, like a template for me and the guys.
Oh, wow.
Wow, you can do this.
Sick.
Like, and we would just do shows in the student union, and you know, the real, look at this view.
Isn't this awesome?
Oh my God.
It gets better, just wait.
It's incredible. The most amazing part really was that at Penn State, amazing performers would come. So Justin Willman would come every year, Wayne Hoffman, Craig Cargis. Like, I saw Mike Super, I saw these incredible acts, you know, when I was 19, and I was like, oh, my close-up magic could translate. Like, and without that, dude, like I wouldn't be on this bridge with you right now.
Wow. So you were mainly into close-up then?
Yeah, and then it was actually Chris who would be like, we're doing a show for 200 people in the hub. And I'd be like, okay, I need to figure this out.
Right.
And it was really a guy named Banachek who...
Oh, I've heard of Banachek.
Yeah, got me into mentalism. And mentalism was just this perfect synergy of my personality, my interest in, kind of audience interaction and engagement.
Yeah.
It was very different than what the other guys were doing. They were into manipulation and birds and stuff.
Oh, right.
And so...
Still cool, though.
Still
cool.
Not gonna knock the birds.
Alex boys.
And yeah, so dude, I just remember one of the first nights doing mentalism on stage and just being like, whoa, this is created with the audience, not necessarily for them. And we're having all these unique moments pop up, and it just, yeah, dude, it was magic, man.
Now, when you do shows now, after it, since you're so good at mentalism and mind reading, even though you probably tell people that you don't have any real powers, do people come up to you and go like, but like you do have powers? Like,
yeah, I mean, I think mentalism falls in this really interesting kind of place where it still is real or could be real, or people wonder, and that's an open topic. I think everyone handles that really differently, like the mentalism ethics discussion, but I always say magician and mentalist because I want people to experience the impossible, not, it's not a psychic demonstration or what have you. So,
okay, yeah.
So yeah, pretty honest when people come up afterwards that like, hey, these are illusions. There are illusions for your eyes. There's illusions for your mind. That's what I specialize in.
That's a great way of putting it.
And so I'm sure I picked that up from some mentor along the way. Yeah. But so that's the flavor. And I also mix magic and mentalism on stage, which can be controversial to some pure mentalists.
Oh, really?
But to me, I want it to feel like, whoa, anything in this room could happen. He can read my mind. This can appear. This can disappear. Like, there's such texture in magic. Why not give them all of it?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, dude, I have a blast with it. But yeah, I think about the ethics all the time, actually.
Yeah, I never that never crosses my mind as a comedian or as a juggler, the ethics of the variety art that I'm performing. But I think it's probably more, magic seems to be more guarded and secret than comedy.
Look, I'll be honest, man. I love what you're able to do, and I have some comedy in my act because it's so honest, it's so authentic, it's so real. There is no layer of secrecy, and I think that it's weird that the universe has given me this skill set of magic and mentalism when some nights I'd rather do what you're doing.
Sure. So. Some nights I'd rather do what you do too, especially like, there are nights that I'm bombing on stage or something, trying a new bit that's not working, but I'm so far in I can't back out. And I'm like, I wish I could just pull out 3 balls and just start juggling and just like no, I'm talented.
It becomes a crutch sometimes where you have these things, but then what's also interesting is a lot of people have seen stand-up and comedy before, but magic is still very rare. And great mentalism is really rare and really personal and really deep. And so, look, I think that all the ingredients are valid. But to me, heavy on comedy in my act is a kind of way to create common ground, and then we can,
cool.
Then I'll hide some things from you, I guess.
Sure. That's very cool.
So,
you spoke a little bit about your influences growing up and seeing good magic at FAO Schwartz, but who are some of like the modern day people that kind of influence your performance?
Yeah, totally. So the two who have had really the most impact, Colin Cloud, who's in Vegas every night, with Shin Lim, just incredible and really, so mentalism in the
Just Incredible, is that another drop?
Yeah, Just Incredible, Justin Willman. I mean,
he used to be Just Incredible.
Yeah, But yeah, huge influence.
I'll stop bothering.
Watch these rocks.
Yeah.
So Colin, huge influence, mainly around like speed and comedy, and also some of the methods that he has created, to create these experiences are insane. And then our friend Ben Simon, which is how we know each other.
Yes.
Just that stand-up comedy magic infusion, being able to play any room, right?
Yeah.
20 people at a private party to freaking 1,000 in a banquet room. So
it's incredible.
Like, those are really strong influences. Darren Brown from the UK, super strong influence. And then a lot of just stand-up comedians that I've just, watched and been so stoked on. So,
do you ever just want to do just a stand-up set?
Yeah, dude. Yeah? That's like, I got notepads full of stuff, and I think it's, maybe actually this is really interesting. Like, So when you build up this kind of magic and mentalism portfolio, you can get on stage and you know it's gonna go well.
Yeah.
Stand up to me feels like really burning the ego down and starting from scratch again without my best outfit on. And
I mean,
you know,
yeah, dude, that's kind of what it felt like for me too, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, what were those first few nights going out like without your clubs, without your boss?
Yeah.
I mean, with, you know.
Yeah. No, it was a real struggle to try to carry a show that way. I mean, I remember the first time I headlined a show, I think I brought my knives in case things went south. And I don't think I used them. I did 52 minutes in my first show without any juggling. But then people, unfortunately, did come to the show because they had knew my past.
Okay.
And they were hoping for juggling. So I did 52 minutes and then I juggled after, like at the end.
That's
like
cool.
as like a bonus.
Yeah.
So that to me felt safe because I'm like, okay, well, I proved to myself I can do close to an hour
Yes.
of stand up without any tricks.
I love that. Yeah. I mean, I think
So it was fine. I don't mind like, you know, doing it every now and then. I just don't want to be like labeled as such or people expect it, you know?
Yeah, I would love to do a solid set and then do one of my pieces, you know?
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It makes you different.
Yeah.
And the audience likes it. And I think like for those like comedy purists out there who may be the same type of people who are like, don't mix mentalism and magic.
Yeah.
But like then so I'll ask a comedy purist, well, who's one of your favorite comedians? And they'll always be like, well, Steve Martin. I'm like, okay, but he did magic and juggling and exactly.
Yeah,
There's
man.
usually horses out here. I was hoping to see horses in the stable.
But dude,
But it's kind of cool, huh?
it's amazing.
Sometimes I'll go running over here and it's just like an escape from the city. So we're in Randall's Island right now.
It does feel like a different world.
I don't know if this hospital is still open, but it was like a psychiatric hospital.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah. And then they have like thousands of migrants behind us. And did you see those white tents?
Oh, no, but
Yeah.
now piecing it together.
Yeah.
But yeah, the stand-up stuff is scary but fun, and like, yeah, I just love that real life litmus test with an audience of like, is this what I thought it was?
Yeah.
And in magic, it's, did this fool you? I thought it might. In comedy, it's, is this funny? I thought it was.
Right.
And like that, just that duality or that risk is so interesting.
Yeah, it is. It totally is.
So
Yeah, I love. No, I mean, okay. So whenever I would like juggle, I would come up with a new trick and I'd perform it, and it wouldn't look any different than any other trick I was really doing because no one would really notice it, but other jugglers in the room or myself.
Mm-hmm.
But when I write a new joke, and I get that instant laugh, that instant gratification, you know, it's such a great feeling. It really is. Like right when a new joke works, I know I'm repeating myself because I've said this before on the podcast, but when a new joke works, it's the best feeling in the world.
Yeah.
But when an old joke stops working, that's like the worst feeling.
Oh yeah, I've never thought about the opposite where it fades.
Oh yeah,
but
because it does happen. You know, you write jokes that just aren't like, you know, it's just not relevant anymore, or just doesn't fit your persona as you evolve as a person on stage. And it might be a joke I wrote, you know, one of my first jokes that I started with a couple of years ago could have been like, you know, could have fit that persona, but just because like my attitude and my confidence is different, it just doesn't work, and that kind of sucks sometimes.
Can you help me understand, like, how has the persona, like, do you feel like you're peeling away layers to get to your core essence, or do you feel like you're adding on new layers based on your life experience?
Hey, I'll ask the questions.
Sorry.
No, I'm kidding.
But I am interested because, like, I've seen you grow over, like, the years, and you've always had a really unique element of you that wasn't, like, that felt different and differentiated. And, like, I personally, if you want to turn back questions,
sure, I
have all these different identities of, like, the tech, like the big tech worker, the small tech worker, the San Francisco kid, but I grew up in Pennsylvania, and then I do magic, and like I had a whole like different world in juggling, and like and then this new stand-up thing, and I feel scattered. Whereas with you, I've always felt like there was Marcus at the core. And where did that come from, or what, you know?
So I think when I was juggling, I had a lot of confidence in the act because I knew it was tested, it was tried and true. You know, I had these like anchor routines that had beats in them, and I could tag a lot of stuff, and that took, you know, like 20 years to really hone. And then I started doing comedy, and I was really hoping to find that same character that I would be on, not character, but same persona, same energy I had in my juggling show. I bring it to the stage in comedy.
Okay.
But it didn't really work at first because I didn't have the material to back up the persona.
Oh, okay.
But now as I'm writing more and more every day, I'm getting on stage more and more. I have more ammo. I have more in my arsenal. So I can be more loosey-goosey and just be more of myself on stage, because I know that if like I can in my head I'm thinking of bits that I have that are, you know, that'll fit certain situations.
Yes.
And so I'm replacing my like knife routine with like my dating bit or something.
Yes.
And it's just like, I know that'll do well. So I think it's just over time, I've built up enough material to where I can be more relaxed on stage, because I know I have stuff.
Yes.
That should,
like the other night when someone was from Wisconsin, you had like the banger about the escape room.
Yes.
That was not improv, right? You said,
I know I have said that joke before, but I wasn't planning on saying that until that I was taken.
dude, but that was one of the strongest like quips.
Oh, thanks, man.
Amazing. And so yeah, I didn't know if that was off the dome or if, you know, you had some Wisconsin stuff if someone's there. So I love that, like that river and like which tributaries have existed before and
Right.
But-
I'm glad you said river, because we're gonna walk up to like a little stream.
Oh, man.
And this is, by the way, the East River, and there have been like dolphins seen in here.
Whoa.
Like
This is gorgeous.
Yeah. Like we're in New York City.
But you'd never
Look at
guess.
this. Yeah.
You'd never guess.
I mean, imagine just like leaving your apartment, you know, you're running over like chicken bones and dog shit, and you know, you're getting sworn at, and then like 10 minutes later, you're in this like trail. Like, yes, you can still see the city and stuff, but like, you know, you got nature signs over here telling you what plants are growing.
No, it's
I'm like,
great.
this is just-
Plants that perform. It's like us. I mean, we are
Plants-
made of soil. So
Are we?
well, it's like the stuff that we ate was grown in the soil.
Oh,
and
sure,
then
yeah.
we become the soil.
Plant-based performers, baby.
Yeah.
That should be like a league of people. I don't know. Anyway, yeah. So basically, yeah. So I hope that answered your question.
No, I love
And
it.
that was a really good question too.
Like, yeah, I just admire the core, and yeah, it's.
Well, thanks for coming to the show. I really want to see one of your shows. I really wish I could.
You've taken this on faith and on people's words.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. What's one layer deeper we can go before we end? Like,
Okay.
what's true right now? Or I'm just trying to think, like, how do we give these people even more?
Ooh, I like that. How do we give them even more? I mean, I think peeling back layers of truth is how you get to a good joke,
Yeah.
right? How you get to a good performance. Hey, let me ask you this: when you go see like a magician, like what bothers you? Like, what are some magicians doing that like kind of bother you? Because there's a lot of things like comedians or other variety performers do that bother me. One specifically, just not being self-aware, going on stage and just doing your act like you would if you were in any type of room, not adapting to the situation.
Yeah, so bam, I'm so glad we found that. Like, I think for me, I think I hold time with higher value than maybe some other folks do. And what I mean by this is,
Look at that cardinal. See it?
oh shit, yes. If I go out on a Thursday night and that's my only free night, and I go to a show, like, man, this better be like authentic and real and present, and you know, time is so limited. And so I think for me, my irk is when people just press play and when it doesn't feel like it's been created for me tonight. And I think that so many people are really focused on their craft, which is great, but magicians specifically, where they don't have enough open capacity to be with the audience because they're so worried about the technique or about the move or about whatever. And so for me, in these 20 minutes we have with this unique human who I will never spend time with again, I would love to know what you've found in your 37 years, or what is the unique view or perspective, and not really feel you stress about, is the card gonna end up in the wallet?
Right.
And so I think that this goes back to a lot of other things, like it's really hard to get stage time. It's really hard to develop your craft to a level where you can build on top of it. But yeah, man, I I love when people have unique perspectives and can share that.
Yeah.
What's tough about magic, though, is people come for the tricks and the delight and the amazement, and pausing and talking about your life for 3 minutes can be jarring.
Yeah.
Whereas comedy is like, no, that's what we're here for.
Yeah,
Like, as long as we laugh every 30 seconds, I do want to know about your unique Wisconsin perspective merged with cruise ships.
Yeah.
I think I struggle in magic so often because I don't feel like I have the latitude to be more vulnerable or to talk about what's up for me. And I'll often write material and I'll be like, you know what, I was hired to blow people away, not to turn this into, you know, open therapy.
Sure.
And that's, yeah, man, that's like my work right now.
Yeah.
About around the form.
Yeah.
But
That's so interesting. I think that's true too. I love to see vulnerability in performers because it adds so much a layer of truth to. This sounds like I sound so pretentious maybe talking about this, but like it adds a layer of truth to the performance. And I like to see weakness sometimes. You know, I like to see what makes the performer like open up.
Yes.
And I think that's like it's important to see all different sides of someone.
totally, yeah. I don't need Superman or Superwoman on stage. Like,
It's not relatable.
yeah, exactly. And I think that's where mentalism is so beautiful because it does feel like a dance and it does feel like we could trip and fall.
Yeah.
And it's not the perfect ending all the time.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about your stuff, where it just feels really raw and it doesn't feel like you're putting on airs to, you know, have people clap. And magic is a lot of, I'll do something amazing.
Clap for me.
Something-
Yeah.
right.
Sure.
How do we, it's a journey, man.
All right, let's turn back. Let's go back this way. Let's go
That'll
back
be
this
the
way.
cut.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, and we switch sides.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
It's all right. I think we're walking into the sun now. Do you have sunscreen on?
It's so funny you say that. I forgot.
Oh, it's all right.
Do you?
Yeah, but I put it on for my morning run today, but then I looked into the mirror after my run and it was like all on my face. I haven't shaved my face yet, so it was just like, you know how it just like gets in there?
Yes.
It was all white. I was like, oh, I can't do a podcast looking like this.
Yeah,
I have like a white face.
What comes up for me, lastly, maybe is we started over there by talking about the 2 jobs and stuff.
Yes.
I think even having the ability now to just, you know, you can just perform, I can just perform, to give energy like this. I mean, that's kind of the thing that I share with a lot of people, which is I was so burned out but didn't know I was.
Oh.
And I was giving my audience 70% and I thought it was 90.
Ah.
And then once I got more capacity, like my shows now just feel so, I mean, it was a blessing on Sunday night for people to be like, this feels different.
Yeah.
Those were people who had seen me
Yeah.
when I had just finished a Zoom call at 6:30 and was on stage at 7.
Yeah, it's incredible.
And so I love how you've been able to, it seems, have bandwidth for your whole career to give. And for me, this is actually a new space where it's like, oh, right, I can just do 1 job and not 2. And that's just a gift in itself.
Oh, well, it's so exciting for me to see what happens with you and your career. I mean, you have the right people in your corner. You got a lot of support, a lot of people that love you a lot, and I'm excited to see what happens.
Yeah, and if any of these folks are in San Francisco and want to see some incredible stuff, there's some great venues, and just follow us.
Now, do you have any live shows coming up they can come to?
So there's an incredible venue called the Magic Patio in SF. I'll be doing some shows there over the coming months. But Andrew, who's the resident magician there, is off the rails. And San Francisco has a beautiful magic scene.
Yeah.
Kevin Blake, Jay Alexander.
And
Brad
comedy
Barton.
scene. I mean,
And
Robin
comedy.
Williams started there.
Yeah.
It'd be awesome.
So, yeah, no, I'll be in flow there or here, or we'll be around.
Awesome. And where can people find you on the internet?
At David Gerard Magic.
Let's go.
Pretty easy.
Let's go, baby. We
Thank
did
you,
it,
Marcus.
man.
We did it.
We did Talkie Walkie. We did it. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and or watch another one. Watch another video. Could be fun. I don't know. Could be cool. You're already this far. You're